The 2025 Kentucky Derby Trail took some unexpected turns this week, shaking up the leaderboard and leaving even the top favorites like Citizen Bull, Coal Battle, and Journalism trailing behind. This feature highlights three rising stars making a serious case for Derby glory, while also taking a closer look at three contenders whose chances aren't as strong as they once seemed. Let's dive in and find out. First, let's take a look at the three colts who are heating up on the 2025 Kentucky Derby Trail. Number 1, we have Tiztastic. In a dramatic turn of events on the road to the Kentucky Derby, Tiztastic stamped his ticket to Churchill Downs with a dominant late kick in the Louisiana Derby G2 on March 22nd. This son of Tiz the Law had flirted with success in prior graded stakes, but had yet to break through until this defining moment. Under the expert guidance of Joel Rosario, he stormed home from off the pace, displaying an electrifying turn of foot that left his rivals reeling. His career-best 99 equibase speed figure and 95 buyer speed figure signal a colt rounding into peak form at precisely the right time. While closers often face hurdles in a 20-horse Kentucky Derby field, where traffic woes can derail momentum, Tiztastic's ability to sustain a long drive makes him a genuine threat in the stretch. Trainer Steve Asmussen has meticulously managed his campaign, ensuring he enters the Derby fresh yet battle-tested with an impressive 8-race foundation. The 6-week gap between the Louisiana Derby and the Run for the Roses plays in his favor, allowing ample recovery time before tackling the grueling 1¼ mile distance at Churchill Downs. With 119 Kentucky Derby points, he leads all contenders and has emerged as a must-watch horse in the Derby conversation. Coming in at number 2 is Final Gambit. Talk about a meteoric rise. Final Gambit went from being an uncertain entry in the Jeff Ruby Stakes G3 to an emphatic winner, securing his spot in the Kentucky Derby with 100 points. Trained by Brad Cox, this Judd Monte homebred delivered a breathtaking performance at Turfway Park, exploding down the stretch with a final quarter mile in 24.02 seconds and an eighth in 11.91 seconds to score a commanding 3.5-length victory. His career-best 96 equibase speed figure and 90 buyer speed figure indicate he's progressing at the perfect time, but the biggest question mark remains, can he handle the dirt? Until now, all three of his victories have come over synthetic or turf surfaces, leaving some skepticism about his ability to translate that form to the Churchill Downs dirt track. However, his pedigree suggests potential versatility, being by not this time and out of a Tappet line mare. While there are legitimate concerns about surface preference, his explosive acceleration and relentless finishing kick make him a serious wild card in the 2025 Kentucky Derby. And at number 3, Flying Mohawk soars into the Derby picture. Seemingly out of nowhere, Flying Mohawk has taken an unconventional path to the 2025 Kentucky Derby, but his recent performances have been impossible to ignore. This Dark Bay son of Caraconte, campaigned by Jason Worth's 2-8 Racing, started his career on turf, where he displayed raw talent, culminating in back-to-back dominant wins before switching to synthetic in the Jeff Ruby Stakes G3. Despite a troubled start, he unleashed a ferocious late rally to grab second place, collecting 50 crucial Derby points, enough to secure his spot in the field. At number 4, Chunk of Gold shines as an underrated contender. Steadily climbing the 2025 Kentucky Derby leaderboard, Chunk of Gold has been quietly making a name for himself with consistent performances against top-tier competition. The Louisiana Derby G2 runner-up improved yet again, boosting his equibase speed figure to 96 after finishing just 2¼ lengths behind Tiztastic. Prior to that, he was a distant second in the Fasig-Tipton Risen Star Stakes G2, proving he belongs in the conversation among Derby contenders. Unlike some of the deep closers in this field, Chunk of Gold possesses tactical speed, which could prove invaluable in a 20-horse Kentucky Derby field where positioning is everything. He has demonstrated progress with added distance, thriving over 1 3/16 miles in his last start, which bodes well for the grueling 1 1/4 mile test at Churchill Downs. With 75 Kentucky Derby points, his spot is locked in, and he enters the race as a live long shot who could work out a ground-saving trip in mid-pack before launching a bid in the stretch. Now, let's shift focus to the three colts whose chances on the 2025 Kentucky Derby Trail are cooling down. At number 5, we have Caldera. The path to the 2025 Kentucky Derby is often filled with challenges, but for Caldera, his Louisiana Derby G2 misfortune may have cost him a shot at the biggest race of his career. After finishing a strong strong second in the Sunland Park Derby, expectations were high for this Liam's map colt. But a disastrous start in the Louisiana Derby quickly derailed his chances. Stumbling out of the gate, getting bumped between rivals, and being forced to check before the first turn, he never had a fair chance to showcase his ability. Despite racing within 3 lengths of the pace, the early trouble took its toll, and he faded late, leaving him with just 10 Kentucky Derby qualifying points, far short of what's needed for a Derby berth. To make matters worse, he grabbed a quarter, a minor but painful hoof injury that likely impacted his performance. While Caldera has displayed talent, particularly in his gritty Sunland Park effort, this setback significantly diminishes his Derby hopes. With limited time left and few available opportunities to earn more points, his connections face a difficult decision: push forward in a last-ditch effort to qualify or shift focus to races later in the season. Coming in at number 6 is Built. Unlike some Derby hopefuls still scrambling for points, Built appears to have secured a starting gate at Churchill Downs with 45 points, but his recent performance in the Louisiana Derby G2 raises concerns about his ability to contend at 1 1/4 miles. A son of Gunrunner, Built entered the race with a solid stakes resume, including a victory in the Gunrunner Stakes and top 3 finishes in the LeConte Stakes G3 and Fasig-Tipton Risen Star Stakes G2. Positioned well just behind the early speed, he enjoyed a dream trip, saving ground and making a well-timed move to the lead entering the far turn. However, when asked for more down the stretch, he flattened out, fading to 5th place, beaten 7.5 lengths by Tiztastic. The early 22.99 quarter-mile pace was swift, but the fact that Built had every chance to capitalize and still regressed is concerning. A strong, closer passing tired horses late might still make an impact in the Derby, but Built's lack of finishing power in the Louisiana Derby suggests distance limitations could be a problem. While his Derby spot is likely secure, he now finds himself trending downward rather than peaking at the right time, making him a tough sell as a legitimate Kentucky Derby threat. And at number 7, John Hancock. Few horses have seen their Kentucky Derby stock drop faster than John Hancock following his 4th place finish in the Louisiana Derby G2. Entering the race off a strong Sam F. Davis Stakes G3 victory, he seemed poised to solidify himself as a top-tier Derby contender. Instead, his front-running tactics backfired, as an aggressive 22.99 opening quarter left him struggling to sustain his momentum in the final furlong. Although he showed some fight by outdueling Built late to reclaim 4th place, finishing 6 1/4 lengths behind Tiztastic was far from an inspiring performance. With 35 Kentucky Derby points, he currently sits on the bubble in 15th place on the leaderboard, meaning his Derby qualification is still uncertain. While an additional start at 1 3/16 miles gives him a stronger foundation for the 1 1/4 mile Kentucky Derby, his recent struggles raise concerns about how he'll handle even more distance under pressure. While his raw ability is undeniable, his declining form makes him a fading contender in the 2025 Kentucky Derby picture. As the 2025 Kentucky Derby trail heats up, some contenders are surging while others are cooling down. Only time will tell who will rise to the occasion on May 3rd at Churchill Downs. Drop a comment, hit the like button, and subscribe for more in-depth Derby analysis and racing updates.